Suns country. Let's ride. How about those Phoenix Suns tonight? On a Friday night, taking on the New Orleans Pelicans. Both teams enter 3-1. Only one leaves 4-1. And guess what, Matthew? That's your Phoenix Suns.
The crowd goes crazy, huh? The fans go crazy. That's what we want, you know? Yeah, dude. It was a win, but something happened that we're not going to be too happy about.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean,
we'll see though, right?
I think there's a lot of opportunity on this team. There's a lot of great veteran players on this team, and you know that thing you're referencing, I assume, is the DeAndre Ayton going down with the ankle injury, correct?
No, I ran out of lotion.
Oh, that sucks.
Midnight Target run, you know.
You know, I was talking to somebody today at work, and one person was asking another person for lotion. I don't know if I've ever put lotion on in my life. I'm just not a lotion.
Haven't.
Yeah, it's not like I have
on your head.
No. Ew,
Okay.
gross. It would clog my pores. Do you put lotion on your head?
No. I just thought you do that on your bald head or something.
Yeah, you got to get it nice and shiny. No, just not a lotion wearer, I guess. You know, so you know, the more you know about me. I don't know. It's just it's a Friday night, and Matthew, I think we can both agree. How great is it not to see those Orange Crush jerseys tonight?
Oh, beautiful. The Friday orange, that was the worst. I think that's the reason we sucked last year, is because we had to wear those every Friday. Very disappointing. I mean, that's why we ended so badly. It wasn't a sucky year, but it kind of built up to the end.
You take a look at it. I don't have the stat in front of me, and I'm not going to take the time to research it. But the Suns only lost, 18 games last year? 22? What was it? 18.
18, yeah.
I swear like 13 of those came on a Friday night. So
yeah, always.
So it's nice to get a win on a Friday night. It's nice to play a team like the New Orleans Pelicans, one of those teams that a lot of the national pundits are really getting behind, right? As well they should. The team has a competitive nature. They got Willie Green coaching them. Obviously, they were down Zion and Brandon Ingram tonight, but they're a deep team. And, you know, the Phoenix Suns handled business tonight. And that's all you can ask for this team. You know, there's nothing worse than going out and they lost without their best players. Like the Phoenix Suns didn't let that happen tonight, which I appreciate.
Yeah, I was worried a little bit, but they did come out. They made sure to kind of end it in the third quarter. In the third quarter, you kind of felt it was over kind of early. And, you know, if you're to watch this game, you didn't know anything about basketball, I feel like the Pelicans still look like the better team at times. Just physically, they look like a more intimidating team than the Suns.
That's because they
have that going for them. Yeah, and everyone on there is big. I feel like everyone on that team is like 6'10" to 7 feet.
Yeah, and long. And I mean, that was the challenge we faced when we went against this team in the playoffs last season, was they were just so long, so physical, dominated us from a rebounding standpoint. But we'll delve into all of that, because that narrative did not exist in this game. The Suns out-rebounded them. We killed them points in the paint, and our bench did fantastic as well. So plenty to talk about on another edition of the Suns Jam Session podcast. We thank you for taking a little bit of time out of your day after the Suns win to come watch this thing live, whether you're on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter, or if you're listening to this thing while you're doing your yard work on a Sunday afternoon, maybe even a Saturday afternoon. If you're listening to the pod, just stay straight, okay? Stay straight in your lines as you mow the lawn. Nothing's worse than you look back and you're crooked, or make sure you pick up the dog shit first. You ever mowed over dog shit, Matthew?
Probably, yeah.
Ruins your day. All of a sudden you're mowing and you're just like,
noticed.
You got the thing going, the smell of fresh cut grass in the fall, and all of a sudden just boom, turtle shit. I mean, we all run over turtle shit.
What are you talking about turtle shit though? Like I was talking about little dog poop out there that's already hard. It's already in the bag quick. It's like whoop. Right in the bag. It doesn't ruin anything.
Yeah, it doesn't even get cut. No, I got a massive sulcata tortoise out back, and that thing just is like, it's like horse shit. And all of a sudden it'll blend into the grass, and then you I don't know what we're talking about. But if you're watching along live, hit that thumbs up button. If you're listening, give us a 5-star review, or not. I don't care. Just enjoy the content. We enjoy making it for you. So Matthew, I know you're having a celebratory beer on this Friday night.
Yeah.
What do you got?
I got here a Bud Light.
Oh, dude,
it's in a green canister though, so the green screen, you can't see it.
Oh, yeah. If you're watching on live, you can't see it. Yeah. Well, I've got myself one of these things. It's called a Black Shark Tank IPA. It's 9% alcohol by volume, and it tastes like the piss from a dehydrated construction worker. So I'm looking forward to popping this bad boy open. Drink them if you got them, Suns fans. Lord knows we've earned it. Ooh, yeah. Let's get this construction worker piss. And cheers. Let's talk about another Phoenix Suns victory. Phoenix Suns at home, game 3 of a 6-game homestand, take on the New Orleans Pelicans. Second consecutive game wearing those sweet, sweet sunburst jerseys. They defeat the Pelicans by a final score of 124-111, which, as always, brings me to my first question.
Matthew, I got to ask.
Matthew, I got to ask. Were you kind of disappointed that the Pels were not at full strength coming into this game tonight, knowing that Zion Williamson is out with it looked like a tailbone injury, and Brandon Ingram, they say, is concussed, but I suspect they just didn't want to bring him into Phoenix because they know if he comes here, he might end up staying here forever.
He might stay, huh? Yeah, that's one reason to not play him here. You know what? We have to get used to this. This is what's going to start the talk, throughout the season. Everyone's going to be sitting. Everyone's going to be hurt. All this stuff. We went through the first week where it's kind of like it hasn't been brought up, but I feel like every year it starts at some point where we start talking about these nationally televised games that are thrown on there. And, you get kind of shit games because everyone's out. So I bet you anything starting Monday, we're going to be talking about this. Zion will probably be back Monday, but who knows how consistently he can play. But I'm just going to be used to it. I'm just like, we did this last year where the Suns won a ton of games and they beat a lot of teams without their full strength. And it's just like, we got lucky. Now Ayton went down tonight, so we'll see how long he's going to be out. Mm-hmm. But it's just part of the NBA. The Suns were so lucky last year not to have any issues. So every other team has issues where it comes to injuries and just kind of resting their players. Let's get used to it, man, because it's going to be happening all year long.
Yeah, and I'll push back a little bit. I mean, the Phoenix Suns had their fair share of injuries last year, too. I mean, Chris Paul was out a chunk of time. We had Booker out a couple times. During the season, Ayton was out a couple times. Cam Johnson was out for like 25 games. So regardless of what happens, you're going to run into these games. You should win these games. I mean, if you're the Phoenix Suns, you're trying to win every game. And I'll tell you this, like, I'm not disappointed that I'm not seeing Brandon Ingram or I'm not seeing Zion Williamson because the Suns will play this team again and they'll be there. So take advantage of it. I'll tell you this. If I was at the game, I'd probably be a little disappointed because part of the fun of going to a game is seeing the opposition and seeing them in person, right? Like I saw Giannis Antetokounmpo play in probably his second year, and it was just an amazing game. I've seen Jordan play. You and I have seen LeBron play and literally walk off the court during a playoff game.
Or just not even walk, or just stand there. We saw that. That happened.
Mean mugging his team, So from a fan experience, when you go to the game and you look up and you see that Zion's not playing, and you see that Brandon Ingram's not playing, yeah, it hurts a little bit because you do want to watch some of the elite players. That's what you're paying your good, hard-earned money for. But from watching from afar, watching it through the television set, watching a little bit on ESPN, the majority on Bally Sports Arizona, I don't give a shit. We're going to end up seeing these guys. And to your point, Matthew, we're not always going to be healthy either as a team.
Watch.
Which brings me to my first topic of the game. DeAndre Ayton, 7 minutes, 42 seconds played in this game. He was 2 of 4 from the field, 4 points, 3 assists. On a jumper, he twisted his ankle. Matthew, when you saw it happen, did you think that, hey, this is going to be one of those things where he's just limping off, he's going to kind of come back into the game? Did you think it was something more serious? What was kind of your first take as we saw DeAndre Ayton ultimately exit this game and not return after the first quarter?
Yeah, no, I thought that he was going to come right back in, but then Biyombo comes in. I'm like, okay, it's a little bit more serious than that. Dwayne Rankin did release like a little mini article just saying he's not going to come back in. I'm like, okay, it's fine. I think it's better to be safe than sorry because you're already going against a Pelicans team that's short staffed. We'll just say that.
Yeah, there you go.
So they're going to get the win. I'm not saying it's just like, tonight take the night off and who knows, he might be back next game on Sunday, but that could be the case. The thing is, like with the ankle, like Ayton had this before, and I forget how long he was out, but he was out for a little bit of time. But it's the best thing, though, in the back of my mind is like get it over with early if it's going to happen. But then mentally, I start thinking about mentally for Ayton. Is he going to be okay when he comes back? He's going to play hard knowing that he has ankle issues, because that's tough. Like when he goes up for that jump shot, and he comes down on Valanciunas' feet, like that's a jump shot. It's not playing tough in the paint. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that might freak him out a little bit more towards the end of the year when he comes back. That's the one thing I'm worried about. But coming back, I don't think it didn't look like something that's going to be too long, right?
Yeah, I don't think it didn't look like a high ankle sprain, anything like that. It looked like it was a little ankle tweak. And I think that, the Phoenix Suns, again, they're on a 6-game homestand. This is game 3. They've got a game against the Rockets or this is game 2, right? Game 2, game 3? Whatever. They got a game against the Rockets. Then they got a game against the Timberwolves, and then 2 against the Blazers. So this is game 2. So game 2 of a 6-game homestand. So take it easy. This is the regular season. You don't need to run him out there hobbling around, potentially hurting himself worse, knowing that he's going against Jonas Valanciunas. This is a player who DeAndre Ayton has had a hard time against. If you were to ask me who the 2 guys that he probably has the hardest time in the NBA against, I'd say probably Jonas Valanciunas number 1 and Jusuf Nurkic number 2. Jusuf Nurkic, he's got twice later next week. So if this is something where it's like, listen, take some time, DA, feel better. This is not where we have a deficiency on our staff, right? Like the backup power forward was the question coming into this season. The backup point guard, can Cameron Payne live up to the expectations? That was a question mark coming up into the season. Knowing that you have Bismack Biyombo, knowing that you have Jock Landale, you're not worried necessarily in the season format. If this was in a series in the playoffs, yes, it's something way more, it has a lot more weight to it, if you will. But I think that play it safe. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see him on Sunday against Houston, but we'll see. Again, I don't think it was overly serious relative to being an injury that's going to last a long time. What was interesting to me in this game, and perhaps it's because Jonas Valanciunas and the length of this team, is we didn't see Dario at all, and that kind of sucks. Is that guy ever going to play again, man? Remember Dario?
No, he's not. No, he's not. Tonight would have been the night he plays, or even next game. If Ayton comes out, he's not playing. Biyombo has to start, which I loved him coming out with us in the second half with the first unit. That was awesome. So we're going to see that probably in the next game. But then I would love to see Dario, because there's spots for him now. There's like the actual minutes out there for him to take. But he sits over there, and I don't know how long. I always am just looking at him, and I feel bad for the dude because I know how badly he wants to play, and he's just sitting there looking like Goron from Mortal Kombat, whatever his name is. Yeah, like I feel bad for the dude. He wants to get some minutes. He had like 2 minutes this year. He has to be on the trading block because there's no other explanation, because I know Monty liked him. Like Monty liked. He's a connector of the second unit. He was. So I don't know. Was.
And this is the only Phoenix Suns podcast that you're going to come to, and we're going to sit there after beating up on the Clippers, and then beating up on the Warriors, and then beating up on the Pelicans, and beating already the Dallas Mavericks, that we're going to sit here and spend this much time actually talking about Dario Saric. What was exciting, though, obviously, is knowing that DeAndre Ayton's out of the game, knowing that the Suns have the depth necessary to be successful in this situation, is we got to see a guy who it was about time we saw him this season. He got some playing time.
Biz.
Bismack Biyombo was absolutely paramount to the success of the Phoenix Suns tonight. Plain and simple. 23 minutes played, 5 of 7 from the field, 11 total points, 13 rebounds, 4 of those on the offensive end. He did have the 5 personal fouls, but that's what you want from your backup center, man. And it's interesting how Monty Williams, you'd think it was like a hierarchy thing, right? Okay, Ayton, it's been Ayton and Landale all season, right? So Landale continues to be the bench guy. Busy comes out, and he gets pretty much all of the minutes that DeAndre Ayton has, and pretty much mirrors the minutes of Jonas Valanciunas, except for a little bit in the fourth quarter. How great was it to see Bismack Biyombo out there, and how good did he look in that sunburst jersey, man? God, it looked good.
I was thinking the same thing maybe 4 or 5 times. Every time I saw him, I'm like looking at the girls in the crowd, seeing if they're eyeballing him. Because you ever do that? You ever watch the players walk by and see who's looking at them, like up and down? Like the players do that, the players all the time. And I was just thinking, I'm like, dude, this guy really pulls the jersey off nice. Nice fit. But he was excited to come in. He was standing over there out of bounds, dancing around, putting on his mentholatum or whatever he was doing over there. I don't know what he was doing, but him and Paul together on the court, they have such a special connection, man. Like, talk about a connector. Like, he absolutely, he does everything right at the center position, even passing out of the paint. His passes are nice. Like, he can connect one side to the other just like that. And he comes in, plays big minutes against big dudes, hermaphrodites out there. The first actual shot from Biyombo is an alley-oop that he just throws over the top of him. Yep. And every time I see Biyombo, I'm always thinking, I'm like, he always plays better than the way he looks. Like, when he comes out, it's like, it's like, I don't know what to expect from this dude. I mean, we don't think that anymore. But if you're watching the game for the first time, it's like, oh, Biyombo doesn't seem threatening. No, seems like a confident dude.
Bunny hook, right?
When you see that, you're like, okay. But then when that's falling, it's the end.
Oh, he's unstoppable then.
Yeah. And the paint, everything he does, switching on defense, really a great night. And it's a night where you're playing against one of the biggest teams in the league. And he comes in as that. He's pretty dominant for what he is. Like, for coming off the bench and playing at such short notice, that much minutes, it was pretty dominant from him tonight, man. He did a fucking great job. And you know what? We're not going to get it every night, but then the nights he does give it, it's like when we need it, he's always there, it seems like.
100%. And I think that, what's important to understand when Biyombo comes in the game is there's a shift in the way that the defense is going to approach the center position, right? Like, DeAndre Ayton is known as being somebody who can dominate the interior, right? He's somebody who the opposition is going to pay attention to on the defensive end. So when you have Chris Paul dive into the basket, Cam Johnson, Mikal Bridges on that amazing alley-oop, the defender sags off of Busy because they're going to try to double team or try to deter the shot of whoever's driving at the lane. So Busy's getting a lot of lobs and easy points that way because simply the fact that he's not DeAndre Ayton. And the opposition hasn't really thought about, okay, maybe I need to box out on this guy because he is a great alley-ooper and finisher. That's one of his attributes. He can play some great defense. He's got that funny looking hook shot, but he's definitely somebody who can finish around the rim. And when you have him come in and the opposition is not ready for it, like tonight, it worked in the Suns' favor. Now, we've seen it in the past, and there's been busy games where he goes out there and he does some boneheaded things. And we saw some of those things tonight, right? There's some plays on Jonas Valanciunas where it's like, you know what? He got dominated. But it wasn't consistent, I feel. I feel like he really did a good job. Like, Jonas had to do everything he can to get his 25 and 10 tonight. Everything he had. He had to pull out all the tricks. He had to earn those points, whereas, Busy, with the way that he plays defense, the way that he plays offense, it was just something that I think Monty Williams did a fantastic job coaching tonight. I really do. Because he played Busy when he needed to, and then he knew that, hey, if I stick with Jock Landale, I'm going to have somebody who is a connector on that side of the ball, on that side, with that unit, with that team. And that's been productive thus far this season. And he didn't disrupt that chemistry just because Ayton went down. He's like, okay, well, next man up in the depth chart says, according to my chart, he's next, so I go with him. I'm going to put in Bismack Biyombo, and Busy, because he's a veteran guy, can stand up and live up to those minutes.
Yeah, and Monty did a great job. You're right. The only thing is, like, he doesn't pull the guys out soon enough, I feel like, in the fourth. Like, I feel like
2 minute mark. In a row.
Yeah, 2 minutes is like, take him out. He waits like a minute 30, but I know it's like just 40 or 30 seconds or whatever. But I'm just like, dude, like, you never know what's going to happen. But obviously, like, Booker wasn't really feeling this night. You know what I mean? Like, the other team pulls their starters and Mikal's getting a dunk on their second units. Like, you can't really celebrate. The game's over. You know what I mean? Why is Mikal still in the game? So that stuff kind of like freaks me out a little bit. And really quick, shout out Parker Hines. Love the background. Let's see. This is actually a background from @Suns Illustrated. His illustrations are pretty insane. So
yeah, he does some fantastic stuff.
Yeah. So.
And shout out Thomas Dennett, one of our both Parker Hines and Thomas Dennett elite jamsters. If you want to become an elite jamster, hit the join button on YouTube, probably from the desktop computer, because I don't think it works on the app. He goes, I was terrified of the bench before the season. Now it's all good. Thomas, I'm right there with you. Yeah. That was my number one concern entering this season, was the effectiveness of this bench. And you take a look at tonight, and I can it's hard to do the math because there's so many numbers, but if I look at the way that the Pelicans performed from their bench unit, 11, 13, 15, 21 points from their bench unit. The Phoenix Suns, there's 25, 30, 41, 52, 54 to 21, I think is what I came up with. 54 points from this bench unit. 54 points. And I mean, that's something that, again, I was really scared of coming into this season. And the chemistry that they're playing with, the hustle that they're playing with, both sides of the ball, the way they're playing, has been nothing short of just fantastic early on this season, Matthew.
Yeah, the first unit came into the game, they looked fantastic. Then towards the end of the first, they were just terrible. They were just outsized, and everything they were shooting was from the outside. They started the game just making everything at the rim, a lot of fast breaks. And then the second unit comes in the second quarter, they go on a 10-0 run. It's Craig and Payne who are back. I mean, it's been back-to-back-to-back games where they look really solid, and they hand Chris Paul like a 2-point lead when Paul comes back in. So they were down about 6 or 7, and then by the time Paul comes back in, they have the lead. Like, that's awesome. And I think Craig and Payne are really leading that second unit. Of course, you got Jock, and of course, you got this. Like, it's like endless now, right? It seems like it, because when I'm watching the Pelicans, I'm thinking like I'm kind of intimidated by this team because a lot of these guys are the bench unit starting. But then when I'm looking at the Suns, I'm like, I don't know what to expect. But tonight just kind of solidified, excuse me, that they are kind of back, like almost 100%, because you want to see it consistently, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's been 3 games where they've looked really good and they're in sync and they're carrying this team when they need to be carried. So they're doing everything that you want. I couldn't be more excited, really, for especially Cameron Payne and Torrey Craig.
Well, and to that point, you take a look at the Suns starters and their plus minus. Mikal Bridges a -1, Cam Johnson a -2, DA for his short period of time played was a -4, D-Book was a +4, and Chris Paul was a -3. But Torrey Craig was a +7, Cameron Payne was a +16, Jock Landale was a +18, Landry Shamet was a +13, and Damian Lee, who played 15 minutes tonight, was a +20. It was definitely the bench unit that came in and dominated this game. To your point, Matthew, for the third consecutive game in a row, offensively, they've been an aberration. Defensively, we knew they had the ability. It's something that we saw early on, and with like the Dallas game, we saw that. It's like, okay, they might not try to outscore you, but they're definitely going to try to pester you and negate the opposition's second team unit from scoring. But they're doing that while they're scoring right now. That's why those plus minuses are so high. So again, let's start recognizing some of those guys.
Here comes the Payne.
Cameron Payne tonight, he played a total of 17 minutes. He was 5 of 10 from the field, including 2 of 3 from 3. And those are wide open threes. And I love that. When you're getting that wide open, it means you're executing your offense very, very well. He had 5 assists and 12 points. Looking very quick, very spry, if you will. Looking like the campaign of 2 years ago. And I love seeing it, Matthew. I love seeing it.
Yeah, and he was wearing the wire tonight, too, for ESPN. He was mic'd up. I don't know if the players like that or not, but he was mic'd up on the floor, and he has quite the personality, right? Like, he is, like, I guess he's the other funny guy, him and Mikal. They always go back and forth. But anyways, I'm looking forward to hearing what the hell he says on the floor, even though they always show, like, little snips of shit you don't even care about.
Yeah. Get back on D. Get back on D. I got him. I got him. Thanks
it's always the
Thanks
worst
for that,
stuff.
ESPN. You wasted all that time and money to mic a guy up, and that's all we got. Like, I'm open.
Yeah, it's the worst, dude. But yeah, another good game, man. Him, Juice, him, and Jock, like, they play very, very well together, man. I don't know what happened, what was said to Payne, but he is still going towards the basket. He had one play where he kind of hit the side of the rim. It was a bad angle, but he got it back and he hit Juice on the little underneath the basket. If Juice like just dunked it in, but his awareness, like, he's gonna fuck up on the play, he gets the ball back and then makes a play after that. Like, that's huge, because the thing is with Cam Payne, we always talk about his confidence and he can get down on himself. So if he makes a play like that, usually slugging his shoulders, going all the way back down the floor. But he's been feeling good, dude. Like, he's been having like some baby blood or something, because he just looks good out there. He looks a lot better than he has like last season.
Healthy, man. He looks
healthy. Yes.
And you take a look at the team overall, the second team unit, if you will, their bench unit through their first 5 games now, they're 7th in the league when it comes to fewest turnovers. And I think that's something that's absolutely paramount for this team. And they're 4th in the league in plus minus, averaging plus 4.2. Let me pull up the total here. Their total so far in the season from a plus minus is they're plus 21 on the season. And again, I think that turnover thing is very valuable. What killed Cam Payne last year is he'd have a couple bad shots and then he'd just throw the ball away. And next thing you know, he's hanging his head. To your point, he's one of those guys who has a lot of personality and lives his heart's on his sleeve at all times. You know exactly where you stand with Cameron Payne. And when he has those games in which he's thrown up a couple bad shots and he throws away the ball a couple times, he's hanging his head, you know it's not going to be a good night. We've yet to see that from Cam Payne. We see the confidence, we see the quickness, we see the speed. He had hamstring issues last year. That he doesn't have those issues now. And to your point, it's like he's chugging that baby blood and he's popping right past the defender, and then he's making accurate passes. He's not turning the ball over all the time, and now we don't have to worry about him, getting down, and he's leading this second team offense and again expanding those leads. And the other guy who's just absolutely shocked me so far, and I love this. I love being shocked because I talk total shit about these guys before the season. It's Cameron Payne and Torrey Craig the Juice.
What's up?
Torrey Craig tonight was absolutely fantastic, especially in that first half. He played 17 minutes. He was 6 of 6 from the field, 1 for 1, obviously, from beyond the arc. 13 points, had 2 assists, had 6 total rebounds. And you look at his second quarter, he had 6 points. In his first quarter, he had 5 points. He was the guy who kind of kept the Suns in the game. And that's what a team is. A team is when the bench guys come in, one guy gets hot, they ride that guy, he keeps them in the game. And he's the one who helped the Suns bounce back from that first quarter in which they were down 27-21. They shot 40% from the field and 11% from beyond the arc, whereas the Pelicans shot 45% from beyond the arc in that first quarter. And Torrey Craig's kind of the guy who steadied the boat and let the offense kind of come to him, and was a lot of high efficiency shots and looked absolutely fantastic night on both sides of the floor.
Yeah, no one can outmuscle this dude tonight. Like, he was, no matter who was down there, he was taking the ball from them and just putting it back up. He's unstoppable. Like, he is sharing the baby blood with Payne right now. He's a putback king. He definitely is a guy that comes in now and is not just like lost. He's doing exactly what he wants to do out there on the court. The confidence on him is huge. And I was thinking, like, I just got on TikTok because we're doing the TikTok stuff now.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess like Tupac's like alive. I don't know. I keep getting stuff about him.
Tupac's alive.
Every time I get those TikToks, I'm like, oh, dude, like, I just think about Juice, and I think about how awesome he's been for this team, and how now that trade's making more sense. I think we can all excuse last season's ending and anybody we got, after the trade deadline, everything that kind of happened. It's like, all right, whatever was going on, whatever. We just forget about it because this is the Juice that we traded for, and he got his drop back. I don't know if there's anything else he wanted. I thought he would just get his drop back and like just be like, all right, I'm good.
Yeah. I'll show up every now and then.
I'm good.
Sometimes I'm there, sometimes I'm not, but at least I got my drop back. Like, I don't have the old Friday drop that John created before the season to kind of diss me a little bit, and Coach Fallen Founder in the chat, shout out another elite jamster, chilled monkey brains. Let's do an Indiana Jones reference rather than baby blood. LOL. When we talk about the Juice, it might be baby blood. It's just unfortunate. It's just we don't make the rules. We're here to report. We're definitely to report. Mike in the chat says, still no genitalia reference, Voida. He's close. He's close to being Big Cock Craig. I'm just saying. Like, he's right there. One more of these performances, he might be Big Cock Craig. I'm just saying. Just throwing it out there for everybody. I'm just kind of calling it as I see it. On the other side of the coin tonight, you look at the performance of our MVP, the man, the myth, the legend, Devin Booker.
Big Dick Booker.
The Phoenix Suns win tonight by 13 points. Devin Booker goes 6 of 14 from the field for 16 points. He has 4 assists. He's got 5 total rebounds. Just an off night for Devin Booker. And the team wins by 13. They lose DeAndre Ayton. They win by 13. What'd you see from Devin Booker? Was it he was rushing his shot too much? Or, this is a team that literally was blitzing him every time he had the ball right from the jump. Outside of the first play of the game, where it was like a tip to him, he caught, he's like, oh shit, I'm wide open, layup. And then like from then on, it was like blitzes the entire game.
Yeah, he was like running into walls. And then like last season in the playoffs when we played the Pelicans, he started off the first 2 games. He was amazing until he got hurt. So it's not really like the size thing I wasn't really thinking that going into this game, but then when I watched it, I'm like, they were blitzing him. The double teams would come quick. Him passing out of it was still just an issue. It's like he would just wait. And I'm like, I don't know why he's taking so long. And then all of a sudden, like the Pelicans will kind of like retreat and leave him. I'm like, why are you leaving him? Like, he's not passing the ball up. Yeah. Like they had him where they wanted him, but he was just running into walls tonight, man. He had a lot of good looks that were in and out early in the game. Third quarter, he had like that little spurt where he scored 6 straight points,
Mhm.
but it just wasn't his night. Even like towards the end of the game, he had one play where he wasn't even playing defense at Alvarado, and Alvarado just went right past him. He's like, "Oh, my bad."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was a total. I've never seen Booker really this way where he was just kind of lackluster, and he seemed like he just, not that he didn't care, but it just seemed like it was like he was like, "Fuck, I'm gonna get fucked all night. Like I'm not gonna be able to do shit." But then he couldn't get going early, so maybe that threw him off too. It was a very weird game by him, but we had 4 really great games by him. If we were to get 5 consistently fantastic games, that would have been crazy. So just look forward to next game. He'll get his 30 points.
Yeah, especially against the Rockets. No, I mean, it's clear. New Orleans is a team that played against Devin Booker in the playoffs last year. They're coached by Willie Green, who knows Devin Booker very, very well. And they purposefully had a game plan that said, you know what, if we lose tonight, it's not because Devin Booker lit us up. It's not because we let Devin Booker comfortably get to his spots. And he didn't. All night, he was not comfortable, and they did a good job of that. But to that point, because I love that they did this to him, by the way. I love that they did this because the more Devin Booker sees this, the better he gets at navigating it. And we've already seen it thus far this season. The game-winning shot against the Golden State Warriors by Damian Lee was directly a result of a double-team blitz by the Mavericks in that moment, and he navigated it correctly. He's continuing to navigate these things correctly as the opposition is throwing them at him through different spurts throughout the game, right? And in a game in which they lived doing it, he had to take a step back and assist his teammates in setting them up for success, and they took advantage of it tonight. And that's the key. Back in the day, back in like 2017, 2018, whenever they blitzed Booker, man, 1, he didn't really know what to do, and 2, neither did his teammates. And I still can't help it. You know, I mean, the Phoenix Suns, this is pretty much our 4th consecutive season where we're a good team. 3 seasons ago, or 4 seasons ago, whatever, the Ricky Rubio year, we were a damn good team and we missed the playoffs by a Karis LeVert jumper, right? The next year we go to the finals. The next year we win 64 games. And then this year we look great again. And Devin Booker's evolution is obviously a big part of that, but so are the assets around him. So are the growth of the players around him. And seeing him navigate those, knowing that he's going to have an off night, because they're specifically trying to do it. They forced him into 5 turnovers. I think it's what it was, 5 turnovers. And you know what? We still win by 13. Not every team's going to have the personnel to do that. The Pelicans have the personnel to do that. They have the length and the athleticism to do that to Devin Booker. And ultimately, it hurt him, but it helped the team because the other guys had an opportunity to get involved, and they executed.
Yeah, and he comes into these games, man, and he is just like, I might just take this over. Like, that's what it seems like, right? He's like, let me see where I am and if I can get going early. And I think the Pelicans really are just like, let's not have that happen. Let's take him out of it, because the way he destroyed him in the first 2 games, the last playoffs, I was like, dude, like, he can get a shot against anybody, big, tall, strong, blonde, brunette, whatever you are. He's going to get the shot over you, you know?
100%, 100%. And a guy who took advantage of this tonight was the Warden.
The Warden.
Mikal Bridges, 31 minutes, 27 points, 10 of 13 from the field. 10 of 13. That sounds like a DeAndre Ayton kind of stat line. No, this is your starting small forward. He was 3 of 5 from beyond the arc. He had 2 rebounds. He had 4 assists, but he had 4 stocks, 1 steal, 4 blocks in this game. And as much as we've talked about thus far earlier this season, that Mikal Bridges is somebody who has been kind of hit and miss. You see him, you don't see him. He was definitely present in this game, Matthew.
He was. You know, Ayton's down. You just talked about how Devin Booker, like, he has teammates that can help him out of pickles where he gets double teamed. Then when Ayton goes down, it's like, who's going to help Booker step up? It's not going to be Chris Paul right now. You know what I mean? Like, Chris Paul, of course, solid game last game, but, you know, who else is going to be the guy? It was Mikal. Like, he took it upon himself to help. And a lot of it was fast breaks, like him and Cameron Johnson. They were well seriously
done.
Like, yeah, I couldn't wait to do that. Like, that's my one favorite thing.
You never play drops, so whenever you do, like, it surprises me and it makes me
so
smile.
good. I get chills. him and Cameron Johnson, dude. Cameron Johnson, I don't know. But Mikal, dude, him on the fast break tonight was awesome. Like
Oh,
the
yeah.
fall away shot he had, I think in the third quarter was just
Mm-hmm.
fantastic. Great defense on Column. I think he only had 17 points tonight. I have to double check.
Column.
Yeah. Did I just call him Column?
So yeah, you gave up on the Mick part. You're just like Column later.
17 points.
Yeah,
Couple block shots against him, too.
6 of 19 shooting
3
for
blocks.
for Column. And yeah, 2 block shots by Mikal. And another
I did
one that
right
should have been a
Column.
block that they called for a foul.
Yeah.
You
but
did right Column.
But still, dude, it was 15 points in the first half. And I was like, where the fuck did those points come from? I didn't remember when it happened. That's the way it is with Mikal. Like, it's a sneaky. Like, anytime he gets a lot of points in a game and a half, and I'm watching the game, I have the hardest time keeping up. Maybe he's just too quick for me. Maybe I go to the bathroom and he scores them all in that time. I think he did hit a 3 when I went to the bathroom. But like 15 points, where did those come from? But a lot of it was just effort on both ends paying off, dude. Because they went on that streak in the third where Mikal, I think he had a steal, he had a layup, then he came back down, a block. I don't know. It was like 3 or 4 consecutive possessions, both offense and defense, where he just was making a difference, and it was him. And then it ended with like that Chris Paul miss, and then there was like a timeout. But that was all Mikal, and that's like really where the game was like, all right, this game's over. It was a third. I think they were only up by 12, but you could tell the momentum swung, and they had that bench that can back them up. They had the starting lineup playing great without DeAndre Ayton, so you knew it was already over, and that was all due to Mikal. Like, I love that that Booker has that. Booker has that guy that can step up.
No, I completely agree. It's like, young Scottie Pippen, right? Like, you need that number 2 guy to really help you out, and he's the one who did that. And I think that, to your point, Mikal scores in spurts, and he has some amazing possessions on both sides of the ball. Like, he was slashing, he was shooting, he was defending, and he had some elite sequences tonight. He had the one where he was slashing to the basket and he scored. On the other end, he gets the block. He goes down, he gets a rebound, and dishes it out, an offensive rebound. Then he gets the 3. And then another one, he hits a 3. He gets a steal on the next possession, and then he has that transition bounce pass to Cam Johnson. So
no
it's just
look.
like, yeah, no look. So, I mean, to your point, like you don't see him score a bunch, but when he does it in bunches, right? And it's just it's great to see that, and you needed that tonight. Again, DeAndre Ayton is a solid 18 points a night, and when that goes down, you need somebody to step up, and kind of everybody stepped up tonight. But I really think that Mikal did a fantastic job. And then, of course, there's everybody's favorite. You know him. You love him. It's Jock time.
Jesus, this is a nice limo.
Yes, it is. Now suck my
Jock Landale.
Jock had 8 points tonight on 4 of 9 shooting, but they were all jams. I feel like literally every one was just one of those extenders. It was an extender play. It's like, New Orleans to score 4 points, boom, quick play to Jock. They hit a 3, boom, quick play to Jock. It's like every time they had any little minute semblance of hope, we made them suck our Jock, Matthew.
Yeah. Well, he did start out 0 for 3, but he doesn't give up. He uses his head. How many times did he get punched in the face tonight? Like, literally, just like,
know,
sucked.
man.
Like, they were just squaring up, man. Like,
put him up, see?
Yeah, I remember Big V was actually shooting free throws. I could see Jock over there looking at him. When they just are looking these dudes up and down, he's like, all right, when am I going to get my minutes against this guy? He doesn't care, man. He puts himself out there. When I think it's because he gets 17 points the game before. Then you have like Ryan Russillo talking about you like, hey, Spurs, why'd you give him up? It's like, you give him up because he's a good player. Spurs are tanking. That's why. But when that's brought up, I feel like the teams are going to go after him more physically. They did. Like, a Jock, like, I felt like in the first half, I was like, dude, this guy might have some issues tonight. But then he gets through all the big bodies. He makes sure that like he actually saves a little bit of energy towards the end of the game where he can out muscle these guys. And like the other guys just seem like they kind of give up, right? And I was going to ask you too, like, do you think if Zion played, do you think it made a difference?
I do.
It doesn't matter.
Oh,
dude, I had to, man. Who keeps asking to drop it on me? Some guy keeps asking for you to drop it on me. Kiko. All right, so I had to do it to you just to prove a point.
Damn, I got.
How does it feel? Feel terrible?
Yeah, I don't say. Yeah, Kiko's like, thank you, Void. No, that was all Lissy. He dropped it on me. Yeah. I got. It doesn't matter. So I guess it doesn't matter. Yeah, you get some love in the chat. After Tiger, nice one, Lissy. Blaze Megatron, yes, Lissy power move. Everyone's like, Metal Mike's like, burn. Jeez, how do I
John's
recover?
going to start crying.
How do I recover from this? How do I recover from this? Oh, well, I guess we'll talk about our bet on it, Paul.
Suns Jam Session.
Bet on it. Bet on it. Bet on it. Bet on it.
Bet on it. Brought to you by Sahara Bets, the newest place to win some money.
A reminder, Sahara Bets is boosting every Suns game. You got to check out the app on game days to place your bets. And they're going to do a Suns Jam boost when you go ahead and do that. Our boost today, we put it out on Twitter, so make sure you follow the show at Suns Jam on Twitter. We said Devin Booker points bet, and it was over or under 28.5 points. Those who voted on the poll followed Sahara Bets on Twitter and commented with what their answer was, had an opportunity to win. And it was the under. It was the under. And the winner on this one is at Sunderous Dunks on Twitter. He's going to win some free bets on Sahara Bets. He said under since he sits out the entire fourth with us up by 25. He probably could have, but Monty Williams still would have brought him back in the game because that's just what he does. But congratulations to Sunderous Dunks, and thank you to Sahara Bets for assisting in funding this show. We appreciate it. And everyone who's, again, hanging out with us, hit that thumbs up button. If you want to donate in the super chat, all that funding comes right back to us so we can create these amazing drops that we have only here on the Suns Jam Session podcast.
Yeah.
We're just a bunch of idiots. Matthew, question.
Mm-hmm.
Did you hang out on the subreddit tonight?
Yes, I did.
Oh, thank God. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's that time of the podcast, where one of us goes undercover during the game and we hang out on the opposition's subreddit. That's right. It's time for
The Suns Jam Session subreddit stakeout.
Whoa. Who's that?
I'm doing the Taz from WWE or WWF. Didn't he used to come out with like a towel on his head?
Oh my God, dude.
So,
Taz.
I
I've heard that in years.
I just have a towel right here, dude. I forgot to bring something to dress up in, man.
Wow. Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
We're just putting towels on our head, apparently. So, Matthew, what were they saying on the New Orleans Pelicans subreddit?
So I actually started off at halftime, and they said Jalen looks like a clown. Yeah,
who does?
Jalen. What's his fucking name on ESPN with the big glasses?
Jalen Rose.
Jalen Rose. Yeah.
Oh, I wasn't watching the ESPN feed, so like I watched it for a little.
Okay.
I watched a little bit of the first half, and then I was just like, you know what? I just want to go home, so I went to Bally Sports.
All right. Maybe I should have done the same thing. They said, we are so well coached. On paper, the Suns should be blowing us out. We ended up doing that. But like I said before, the Pels do kind of look good in the first half. But when you're short staffed, it can't only last that long.
Yeah.
Jose, tired of being disrespected by the refs.
Ooh.
Love it. Because he was throwing fits one after the other.
He always stomping those
feet.
Well, this is great. It's a great time to talk about Jose Alvarado, Jose Avocado, whatever. He's just so annoying, man. Like, he really is. He's one of those guys who, you respect the hustle, right? And you give him props because, he's undersized, but there's something about his face, man.
A lot. God damn it, I don't know what it is about your face, but I want to deliver one of these right in your suck hole.
And he's is he a top 5 punchable face in the NBA? Has he done that? Because it's the look on his face when he's stomping around, and I love that they were calling him for fouls. He was trying to run through screens and fall down, and they're like, foul on that dude. Like, I love that.
Yeah, and he kind of reminds me of the lead singer of like Rage Against the Machine. He looks like him.
He looks like him. Yeah, Zach De La Rocha. What's his name?
I'm not sure, but he just reminds me of him for some reason.
Yeah, he's sneaky, but he's annoying too. And I love how the Phoenix Suns really did a good they did a good job. And this is kind of what they've been doing the front end of the season. Chris Paul's not taking the ball up every time, and they're setting those screens and taking him off of him. So it's like his effectiveness wasn't there like it typically is. Now, don't get me wrong. Like, you take a look at Jose Alvarado's stat line tonight, and he played 29 minutes. He had 14 points, but he was 4 of 12 from the field, and all those came from beyond the arc where he was 4 from 7. This is your starting point guard. He had 3 assists, and he had 4 fouls. So I think the Suns did a really good job, obviously. Now, again, he's typically playing against the second-team unit. He'll come out and play against Chris Paul, is what we've seen in the past. But they did a good job just kind of game planning and just not letting him affect the game the way that he wanted to, and that makes me happy. I like seeing him on the sidelines, just looking lost. Like
you can tell Chris Paul was definitely like, all right, dude, I don't have COVID this time. I'm okay. We can go ahead and play. I had COVID for 2 weeks or whatever.
Yeah.
They were apologetic, though, in the subreddit stakeout. They said that I got to apologize to Ayton. I thought he faked an ankle injury after that flop early in the game. I guess he actually was hurt. How sweet of them, right?
Oh, well, that's nice of them to talk shit and then be like, well, let me take that back. Normally, they just let it live. No, he was hurt, man. Don't be dicks when people get hurt. What are you, the fucking Raptors fan when KD goes down?
Yeah. And then I was done after this, dude. I was like, what's the foul difference right now, they said. I'm like, done. They're talking about the fouls. I'm like, dude, just don't even go there. I'm not about the fouls anymore. So once I saw that, I shut my laptop and just went to bed.
I'm out of here. Well, to that point, personal fouls in this game, the Pelicans committed 21. The Suns committed 18. And from the free throw line, they shot 22 attempts. The Phoenix Suns shot 20. So suck it, Pelicans.
We had our one game last game, all right?
Yeah, it's like, you know what? They outshot us from the line for by 15, like every fucking game last year in 6 games. And then it's somewhat even. They're like, what the hell's going on here? You know what? You take that. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was
the Suns Jam Session subreddit stakeout.
Sponsored by nobody. Insert your name here. Blaze Megatron in the chat. Dylan Brooks or Alvarado, most punchable face. Go, Matthew.
For me, it's Alvarado. Dylan Brooks, I know, is right up your alley. I know you're going to choose him, right?
I'm going to choose Dylan Brooks.
Yeah,
because fuck that guy. The biggest flopper in the league. Although they did show highlights during, and maybe it was on the ESPN feed, but they were showing highlights of his hustle plays against the Suns in the playoffs last year. Like, look how great he did. And he had that one play where he just like ran into Chris Paul and looked like he got JFK'd in Dallas, Texas, circa 1963, just flailing, falling to the floor. And I remember that play. And I remember I'm like, oh man, just so annoying. And I get it was against Chris Paul, so there will never be any love lost by anybody around the league. But it's just like, kind of that Eric Burns quality, some of that fake hustle shit. Really,
yeah. And he couldn't handle that. He couldn't handle that booty of Chris Paul, dude. That's all. That's all it says about him. He just couldn't handle the booty.
Nobody can handle that booty.
Fuck.
You know what I'm saying? So, all right, time for the Jam Star. I'm not forgetting it on this podcast, Matthew. I'm not forgetting it this time.
Jam Star of the game.
All right, Jamsters, this is a reminder. If you're listening, look to your left, look to your right, and give somebody a thumbs up. If you're watching along live on YouTube, give us a thumbs up, subscribe, rate, review. Click the join button, become an elite Jamster, get exclusive content made by me and primarily Matthew. And let us know in the chat who your Jamstar of the game is. Matthew, it's my turn to go first, right?
No, it's my turn.
Is it?
Yeah. I'm
sure.
Yeah, I went. I'm odd. Is it odd? Yeah, odd numbers. So
you're odd. You're odd
because I went first. You went second. I went third.
Are you sure it's your turn?
I don't know.
It doesn't matter.
I'm so numb to it now. You know what I mean? It's just like another burn on the wrist, dude.
Don't go. Another cigarette. Just put out another cigarette on my forearm. All right, we'll let you go first, Matthew. Who's your Jam Star of the game?
Mikal Bridges.
That was pretty easy. After all that, that's all it was.
That's all it was. Oh, I had
all right. Well, let's see. Let's see what the Jamsters are saying. I like what Kiko says. Whole bench is my Jam Star. Bridges. The Warden. Like what Juan Arenado says. Busy.
Ooh.
The big step up by Busy tonight. Really was. Mega Giant says Mikal Bridges. Crazy Luigi. Bridges for the starters and Bismack for the bench. Low Sun says Bridges and put stars around Bridges' names. I like that. Good use of the emojis. Parker Hines says the juice, and he's got the juice emoji. Loving the emojis. You got Blaze Megatron, who's got the Suns Jamstar emoji going on. That's something you get if you are an elite Jamster. Busy, the bench, Bridges, Warden. But CP3 was sick passing tonight, and that's someone who we didn't talk about, but ever so briefly, only 30 minutes played, only 1 of 7 from the field, but 7 points and 9 assists. Playing right into kind of how he's doing. Twin number 1 from Scott Lacey. Yeah, it's got to be Mikal Bridges. But like I said early, if you're looking outside the box, I really think that Monty Williams deserves a tip of his cap because he really had to adjust on the fly in this game, knowing that DeAndre Ayton went out and the fact that Devin Booker was taken out of the game. They purposefully went out of their way. So he's like, you know what? We're going to go ahead and we're just going to adjust accordingly. And adjust they did, and that's what champions do. So hopefully we end up being champions.
Or maybe Monty got what he wanted. Maybe he got
I didn't talk to that guy all summer. Yeah, I'm glad
he's like, oh, thank God, man. Now I can do what I want to do.
Yeah, but see, now DA's going to go chug some baby blood. He'll be fine by Sunday.
True.
I like what Felix says. He says the jerseys.
Yeah, perfect.
Those jerseys looked real nice. Real nice. Do you know the next time that we're actually going to see those jerseys, Matthew?
It's going to be a while, right? Because we only wear them 5 times this year or something like that.
No, I think we're wearing them we wear them a lot. I was looking at this. I have the schedule because obviously I do all the graphic design on the front end for the pod title and such. And whenever we play against, whenever we wear the Hardwood Classics, if you will, we will have our graphics reflect that. Our next time will be November 26th against the Jazz. We wear them a total, it looks like, of 12 times this year.
Sweet.
Which is beautiful. That's beautiful.
Awesome.
They need to make those the permanent jerseys, man. We've said it before, but how great would it be to see them play on Sunday against the Rockets, but they're wearing the white version of that, right?
Have they worn the purple or white? Have they wore the purple or white yet? I don't remember. Because they wore the black, the open up, and then did they go to purple, and then the throwback?
No, I think they wore the white against the Trailblazers. I think.
Okay. I think so too.
Sounds right.
Yeah.
But yeah, we still have those teal jerseys coming down the pipe that haven't officially been released. We know we're going to see those at some point this season. But man, I wish they would bring these jerseys back permanently. They just need to. It's perfect. It's perfect. And I like the Wild West jerseys better than all Suns ones. But I think when you look at the screen, the numbers are huge. They're white. You can see them. Whereas the purple jerseys, the numbers are orange and their last names are gray. So it's kind of hard to see. Whereas these, when they're standing on the free throw line and you see that 2-3 next to the 2-5, they're standing right next to each other. And twins. And you see, they look so good on the TV screen. And I just wish that we could start a petition.
Yeah.
What could we do? We could start a petition. We could pick it outside the arena, we want the original, the throwbacks, bring them fullbacks or something. I don't know.
I just want a championship. I don't know.
Yeah, that too. I mean, I guess
I don't know why I said it like that.
I'll get off my soapbox about trying to get the jerseys. Next game, Sunday night against the Houston Rockets. They're coming to town. That's game 3 of our 6-game homestand. Currently, they are 1-4. They are better, Matthew, than the Los Angeles Lakers.
Yeah. Yeah, everyone.
They did play Portland tonight. Did they win that game or lose that game? Any idea?
They lost. Yeah,
so they're 1-5.
So they're 1-5 now. Okay. Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, do you want to talk about the Lakers? I was just joking. I mean, I was watching highlights. He's rocking the baby Russell Westbrook, and they're going crazy, and they're still losing by 5 points to the Wolves. So you guys are fucking idiots. But yeah, the Rockets. We can talk about the Rockets if you would like.
Yeah, sure. Jalen Green leads them in scoring, 22.6 points. Kevin Porter Jr., 21.4. Sengun is 15.7. Eric Gordon, Jabari Smith. I mean, they're a talented young team. They're a team that you can't take lightly. They're offensively, they're going to have moments and runs that they're going to put on this Phoenix Suns team. So as long as the Phoenix Suns continue to stick to their mantra of being a team that is focused on defense, on being a team that entered this game tonight holding the opposition to 104.5, which was third best in the NBA. And again, tonight held the Pelicans to 111. They have the third best defensive rating in the league. If they stick to that mantra, they're going to be fine. They just got to sustain the runs that this young team's going to do, knowing that in the fourth quarter, this team will get in its own way. Just don't allow them to get hot from 3. It's the only thing I ask when you play these young teams. Guard that perimeter, man. Guard that perimeter.
Yeah, but they're high flying too. And my favorite thing about this team is I think they're getting into it already. You see the Jabari Smith and Jalen Green were getting onto the bench, a little push and shove. And then you see Eric Gordon sitting there oh God, give me, I feel bad. Kevin Love, he's still with the is he still with the
Cavs?
He's still with the Cavs, right? Yeah, but now they're a good team. But like Eric Gordon, get him the hell off that team, dude. Like that's one name, of course, the Suns are going to look into, I'm sure, by the trade deadline. But maybe not. The way they're playing, maybe it doesn't matter. But yeah, Jabari Smith Jr., Jalen Green, get into it. You got two young dudes that want to be the alpha male, right?
Yep.
Right? Like that's what's going on there. They can't coincide, I don't think, with that on that team. I don't know if they can, but I like to see how that develops this season. I know they're not going to win a lot of games. They're going to go for that number 1 pick. And then maybe trade one of these two dudes, because I don't know if you can have those two guys. It's kind of like maybe like a Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum kind of thing.
Yeah, but then also less structure around it, right?
Yeah, but then Jaylen Brown is like kind of more to himself. He's not really kind of like the alpha male guy. I don't think Jason Tatum is either. So maybe that's why it works. But these two guys, I think that they just want to be the number 1 on that team.
100%. The problem with that team is they got too many juniors, right? Kevin Porter Jr.,
yeah, it's
Jabari Smith Jr., Kenyon Martin Jr.,
just
they had Ty Washington Jr. Like,
it's like we know you're born and you have
a dad
somewhere. Yeah,
nothing's worse though than that year in the NFL where everybody was a senior, right? So
oh my God,
Terrell Pryor Senior. I'm like, I get it. You had a kid, you named him after yourself. Yeah, Steve Smith Senior. Like that was an annoying year. I'm like, why is everyone all a senior? Like, I get it. You're a pops. Okay, carry on. So
yeah, that's frustrating.
Suns win that game, right?
I hate it. Yes. Back on track after a really solid win. The Suns get back on track.
Yeah, they get right back on track after blowing out 3 consecutive teams that were everybody that they'll get no credit for. No one will talk about the Suns. Now, granted, the Suns, I think I was doing a little research today. ESPN has them 3rd in the power rank. Bleacher Report has them 4 because they're idiots. And again, like they're a team that's just there, but like no one cares. And that's okay, dude. Have that mentality. Have that mentality of just, you know what? We're just going to have that bunker mentality. No one's going to believe in us. We're just going to be like, oh, yeah, they were good last year. And they went to the finals year before, but whatever. They're really good. It's like they have the reps now that they could be really, really dangerous. But I like what I'm seeing so far from the team, especially from that bench, man. That bench is just unbelievably surprising to me thus far this season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just get the wins. That's all that matters. And you know what? That game against Portland, they did lose that one. That was a close one. I guess Portland is looking pretty good. They have some hidden talent on that team.
But Dame is now injured.
Did he get hurt?
Yeah, he's out 1 to 2 weeks with a calf strain. Yeah, they still won. Well, because they're playing the fucking Rockets.
That's fine. Yeah, exactly. But just really quick though, I think the way the Suns are playing right now is perfect. It's kind of just under the radar. I hated how we went into the playoffs last year, where everyone picked them to win the championship. Like, fuck, I don't like this at all.
I was talking to Cole, his @Suns report on Twitter, right? He gave me a call today and he had some questions. He's currently at Colorado University and he's taking a sports writing class and he had some questions. We want to talk about the Suns. And that's one of the things that I talked about. I'm like, the Suns last season were another, it was them against the world, right? Because all the information kind of came out about Robert Sarver and they had to create that bunker mentality. And they used a lot of those milestones throughout the season as an opportunity to just kind of band together, right? Like, let's get Monty to the All-Star game. Let's win 64 games. Let's get Devin Booker Player of the Week, Player of the Month. And then that's how they kind of, us against the world. And then they went to the playoffs and everybody was just like, okay, like the Suns are going to kick ass in the playoffs. The question is who's going to at least show up and play kind of good, right? And it was the first time they had truly played with expectations exactly like that, right? There's no other time in Devin Booker's career where he was just clearly the odds-on favorite for everything. But that's also a learning experience. They now know how to navigate that if and when they have to navigate that kind of thing again. If the national pundits start sucking off the Suns, guess what? They know how to deal with it now. And I think that's very important for this team moving forward. That is what that's a little thing you call experience.
Yep. And if you're moving forward too, as the Suns, like you are learning from last year, but also like everyone flip-flops anyways. You're right. I mean, it's everything that's kind of new that everybody that's winning. I mean, there's so many times where this team, even at the beginning of the year, dude, everyone was saying, oh no, they're going to fall apart. It's like, dude, it's the same fucking team that just won 64 games and they got better. Like, how are they going to be bad this year? Oh wait, John picked them 49 wins.
Yeah, I did pick them winning 49 wins. That's why.
Did you tell that guy?
To prove me wrong.
Did you tell that guy in the interview or whatever?
I don't think so. I think he's going to reach out to you too. So
really?
You better be ready.
All right, I better write.
Yeah, you better write something, anything.
Fuck.
All right. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, again, thank you for joining the Suns Jam Session podcast, the best post-game podcast on Planet Orange. We'll be coming to you live again on Sunday following the Houston Rockets game. What's the Sunday night football game that we're not going to watch?
Oh, let me see. I can see really quick.
Yeah, you look that up.
I know the Cowboys play at 10 o'clock, right? So,
you have a morning game?
I think, yeah. I love the morning games, dude.
Oh, yeah, because you just get it over with. Like, I always have to wait till 1 p.m. for the Cardinals to play.
That's
this is
the
last
worst.
week, and I think this is the last week of it. The next week after that's when everything around the country moves. So, like, the football games start at 11 p.m. or 11 a.m. and like 2 p.m.
We'll watch the game. The Bills and Packers. We'll have the game on,
yeah.
Stephanie.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
And then, Cardinals play at 10. Okay. Cool.
Hell yeah. So join us then. Make sure you follow the show on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Suns Jam. You can follow me on Twitter. I'm at Darth Voida, and that's where you can find all of my very boring analytical tweets. And you can also read my writing on brightsideofthesun.com. And you can follow Matthew.
I'm Matthew Lucy.
And that's all you can do. Just follow him. Follow him around. Say hi to him.
Follow me around. Check out Amsterdam. I'm actually thinking about doing a overview. You know, people just have questions, I guess, about it. So I'm going to do like just a walkthrough of it. I'm going to try to push through this. You know, I'm struggling here. I'm trying to get this thing lifted off the ground a little bit, just a little bit, and just see what people, think. So I'm just going to do some walkthroughs live. So if anybody wants to join me, maybe tomorrow or Sunday, I'll do a little live walkthrough to show you how fun it is to be in Jamsterdam and contribute.
There you go. So if you want to know how Jamsterdam's working, stay tuned. Make sure you follow the show. If you're on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter, thank you for watching live. Again, if you're listening, give us a 5-star review. And I won't tune into those, Matthew.
Of course you won't.
Because I already know what to do.
You're not even in there.
Oh, I'm not? Give me the code.
There's no code.
How do I get in there?
Hey.
I need to watch the tutorials. Okay. Go home and love your Jamsterdam, all that stuff. We'll see you.